Where did Jeremy Fragrance go wrong? Last night actually, I was watching that video from Mr. Bowtie, Fragrance Guy, about where he talked about Jeremy Fragrance, and that made me think about that whole situation once again. I think his case is a cautionary tale for all budding influencers, and not when it comes to fragrances, but any kind of other anybody who really wants to build themselves up via YouTube or any other kind of social media tool or platform, because it's clear, as Mr. Bowtie said, people used to like him. I know I also did in the beginning. I liked his energy, his cheerfulness and playfulness and all that. I believe I started watching him, but I started actually watching when he was already in that other phase, when he was no longer his old self. But I first saw mostly his older videos anyway, where he was like pretty positive. But then what happened? He started when everything went really well, started going too well almost for him. That's when, of course, that's when the ego starts to build up. Also, it starts to go uncontrollably high, and yeah, that's when problems begin. Well, first one thing that I've noticed, is that he would never admit that he was being paid by anybody. But it was obvious, because why else would a guy put out like a video every 2, 3, 4 days where he would talk about mostly the same fragrances every time? Like he will include maybe one more that he didn't talk about before. Sometimes, not in every video, but I mean that's really pretty obvious that he was kind of pushing, trying to set to, be a kind of extra salesman for these companies, because he was always doing the same old Dior Sauvage, Chanel Blue, and Jean Paul Gaultier Ultramal, sorry. Yeah. So that became kind of pretty. At first, it was just suspicious, but then it became really transparent because he kept doing it over and over, and even in one video I saw where he kind of he how to say it he blew his cover briefly when he said, "I'm sick of doing the same old shit over and over." And why did he do that? Everybody knows you don't have to do anything if you don't want it. I mean, you don't have to make a video unless you are being paid. And of course, yeah, he was also getting money by YouTube for putting out videos, not just these brands. I actually cannot say for sure, to be honest, if he was being paid by it. But yeah, I think he was actually, because why else would he just talk about these same 3 or 4 kind of fragrances all the time? I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. So it was like, and I said I didn't like the way he ditched certain fragrances, that he didn't like, or I don't know why he didn't. He simply was not, I guess, paid by those brands to say that he liked those. So some of them are pretty also very. highly acclaimed fragrances, which made that was something that I just didn't get. But one thing is that you must remember he doesn't really have. He's not an expert, all right. He's not a chemist, not a perfumer, even though sometimes he may sound as though he was, because he was like, well, this one ingredient is so and so. This he doesn't know quite a lot about these synthetic like chemicals. Or this is an expensive chemical. He knows his chemicals, all right, but he's still not a chemist really. He knows that because he has worked in the and he still works in this industry, right? All right, but that another thing. That's all right. When he just was putting out videos, that's one thing. But then he wanted to go actually into this business. So that was a really bold move, and some might say like egomaniac. I think it kind of, you know, crazy kids. I think it kind of did show that he was getting more egomaniacal because the way he put those prices, on his fragrances, the way he kind of went about to, you market them. It was like, oh, this is the best date fragrance ever. This is the best office fragrance ever. And he put those prices like, come on, even though he had Alberto Morias, but still, he doesn't give you the right to put such high prices. I mean, just that, because your brand is new, your company is new, right? You're starting out, so what do you want to do to establish yourself? Do you want to put up make your ego do your, decisions for you and just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna price this up to the sky, or will you just say, wouldn't it be better for stars to lower the prices and then see if people really accept it? Because I think I will sell more, that way. And he admitted it himself. Actually, he was like in his own, you self-pitying way. Well, I'm the stupid guy who isn't making more money by, lowering by selling my fragrances cheaper. Yeah, it's not just stupidity; it's the ego because he couldn't stand, like having pricing his stuff like for instance, I mean, just he had to be extraordinary in every way. So his prices had to also be like up there. Couldn't be here. They had to be up here, not here, because then it would mean his brand is just another brand like any other. And it is, but that's not the way he saw it. Obviously, so it was the case of ego, and yeah, mania taking over. Yeah, it's like I got Alberto Moya. I can price him as much as I want. This guy is a super perfumer. Yeah, right, he is, but you are not Tom Ford, right? You are not Creed. You're not Clyde Christian. You cannot do that simply because you're just starting out, man. Come on. Yeah, you're a YouTube man. You're a YouTube influencer, so you can expect just conquer this industry, which is so freaking competitive. And you got tons of brands fighting for survival. Actually, fighting for survival. There are many that don't make it. Also, many that don't actually. So you know. Uh, and the way he called it fragrance one, I think that was quite Not the best name, really, not the best name. It was like another case of egomania. Like, my fragrance brand is number one. My company is gonna be number one. That's why it's called Fragrance One. Why he could have just called it Jeremy, like because everybody would then know it's his. Everybody knows who Jeremy Fragrance is. Well, in this world anyway, in the fragrance world and the YouTube community and all that. So yeah, there you got it. It was just pride stands before a fall. That's just the way it went. And it's a lesson for everybody. As I said in the beginning, it's a cautionary tale. And now where is he? He had to give his give those office and date and all the others away because they were finished. Of course, they weren't able to sell enough. Come on, with those prices. I think it was mostly just mostly his biggest fans that bought it, and those that were kind of curious. They those guys that buy like fragrance almost every other day. They were like, oh, why not have that one also in my collection? So yeah, obviously it didn't go well. But yeah, I mean, Mr. Bowtie said he wishes that the old Jeremy would come back. I'm not sure if he ever will, because when you fall, sorry, hard, when you fall on your nose, right, on your face, flat forward, like he did, he was also outed for certain things, some other personal stuff that I'm not going to really talk about. Well, there were a few incidents where he was coming on to girls, kind of, too heavy, and they wouldn't have it, so he didn't know when to back off. So that's what also this does. This ego is kind of, yeah, I'm Mr. Fragrance guy. you know, you just don't know when to stop, right? You go to Miami, you do whatever you want, and then you come home and then you think you are still in Miami, you can do also whatever you want. That's not it. That's not the way it works in Europe, right? In Germany, especially. So, yeah, it really messes up your mind. So, and I don't like dishonesty. People that are not totally honest. I mean, when he was saying he wasn't getting paid by any big company, that's bullshit. Come on, man, it's bullshit. Everybody knows he is getting paid by at least one big company, if not several. All right. So, yeah, I also think, hope he will, you know, pull through from this. But it's obvious, as also Bowtie said, that he's struggling, mentally, psychologically. He's not. He's gone too far, and when you create an alter ego, that's what he did. Because he's not Jeremy. His real name is Daniel, right? He was Daniel, uh, the boy band guy, who had a nice family, but was single also for a long time. I'm not gonna go there. That's his personal stuff. But then he became Jeremy Fragrance. He created a whole new ego, whole new persona for himself. And now that persona has taken over. It's pretty much like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? Now he doesn't know who he is any longer, obviously, or he thinks he is Jeremy Fragrance and not Daniel. He has to be. He thinks that he has to be to have a good life, right? It's not true. You have a family. You have a good family, obviously, brother and mother, and I don't know who else you have, but anyway. And yeah, he's been all had this, you know, had this obviously phase when he was into into religion, was wearing a cross, and now that whole phase just turned out to be a one big bluff. It's gone now. He doesn't wear a cross anymore. He doesn't talk about God or Jesus. So now, you know, he's just a sad shadow of his old self, that's for sure. And I think he should find something else to do. Yeah, I think he should. I think you should, Mr. Yeah, because this isn't doing it for you anymore. Right. Make movies, whatever. Make, I don't know, whatever you want to do. This isn't good for you anymore to keep doing this. It's a really an evil circle, an evil circle. It will get you sooner or later. I mean, it has already got him, obviously, but he doesn't want to, realize that when you become addicted to going to Miami, having sex with some random girls, and driving a Ferrari and having a golden Rolex. Come on, what kind of lifestyle is that for a normal man who, I mean, you can do all that, but once you lose touch with your inner self, you are in trouble, man. You are in trouble. So your company is gone now. I believe you will start losing fans. If you have already lost quite a bit of fans, and you were talking about getting married and all that, settling down. Where is that? What happened to that? It will not happen because now women know you. Yeah, they know you are. You come off now as a pervert, as a creep. Frankly, that's embarrassing. Must be embarrassing for your family as well. Yeah. So yeah, that would be all, I guess. He's just a guy that is in a dire need of help, dire need of, yeah, psychologist. All right, take it easy. Bye bye.